All right, let's get the views of Gareth Roberts from the Anfield Wrap on the game yesterday. Gareth, it's at that point of the season where things are getting squeaky bum time, I think is the phrase I'm really looking for here. What's the general sense now from Liverpool fans of where the team is with regards to a potential title win?
Rails a little bit. I don't think we can lie about that. I mean, the draws aren't ideal, but what I would say is that, Liverpool have done brilliantly to get to this point, and we just all need to keep our nerve as a collective, the fans, the manager, the team, and I just think, there's been plenty of Liverpool seasons where we've got 50 odd points in a whole season, 60 odd points in a whole season. We're on 70 points at this point. And City now, it's in their hands. If they go and win all the 9 games remaining, they can finish on 98 points. Liverpool can finish on 97. If Liverpool finish on 97 points, it's the most points they've ever amassed in the history of the club. And I just think it has to be put into that perspective. We can't do this thing where we just analyse match by match and say, OK, Liverpool are great if they win, and they're not great if they draw. The draws recently have been Everton away, United away, Bayern Munich. I mean, these aren't easy games, and I just think Everton sort of seen in the context of basically a couple of chances. If Mo puts one of them chances away yesterday, we're sitting here having a very different conversation. It's not like Liverpool were absolutely awful; they were fairly comfortable at the back. The defence has remained strong. We haven't conceded a goal for 7 hours, so there's not, for me, loads and loads wrong. We just need to now go out and win, and the margin for error has completely gone now. And as I say, it is in City's hands. But I look at City's fixture list and I see difficult games there. And, they've already lost games that no one expected them to lose. No one expected them to lose at Newcastle. No one expected them to lose to Leicester and Crystal Palace. So, there's still hope there, and we've just got to keep on going.
Gareth, when you talk about everybody needs to hold their nerve, it's mostly important. I mean, the team are going to hold their nerve, I think, because they're professionals and this is their job. It's the fans and making sure that doesn't become contagious somehow. It's an impossible thing to ask of any fan base who are, so close to ending the famine that they're in the midst of.
But we have to, because, for me, the big concern, one of the most concerning moments of the season was when Virgil van Dijk said after the Leicester game at home that he could feel that on the pitch, they could feel the nerves of the fans. And for me, that's all gone wrong. That thing's gone on its head, because we're there to support. We're there to make them feel better. We're there to encourage them, discourage the other team, appeal for everything, make it a bear pit, make it our Anfield, if you like, not the other team's Anfield. And so I thought Liverpool fans reacted really well to that. I thought the atmosphere for Bournemouth, which was at 3 p.m. on a Saturday against a mid-table side, was brilliant. Liverpool fans reacted really well. I think Liverpool fans can react really well again when we play Burnley on Sunday. Again, Burnley on Sunday, 12 o'clock kickoff. Not ideal circumstances for a football match or for supporting a football match. But I think Liverpool fans will react again, and I think Liverpool will react again.
Is it a different place, Gareth, at all to Anfield in previous recent title-challenging years? Is it a more nervous place at all? Like you say, it's a great atmosphere, but so by the sounds of things, it really isn't a nervous place that some people have been trying to paint the picture as.
Yeah, I think, I don't know whether to go as far as say it's mischief-making, but look, this is the way the media is, isn't it? It looks for negativity. It sells newspapers and it gets clicks if you say Liverpool are in crisis, Liverpool have blown it, Liverpool have bottled it. I think that Leicester game was the only one, really, where there was a huge amount of nerves around the ground. As I say, Liverpool fans reacted positively. And since then, the atmospheres have been good. And I think, you're very right to say earlier that it's the fans who need to keep the nerve here. And it's some of our fans who are bottling it for me, not Liverpool as a group of players or the manager. We need to hold our nerve. We need to keep back on the side. And even things on social media, I think all that counts. Because the players look at it, the players are only human as well. And so if they can just see us as a collective having a massive wobble and saying, that's it, we've blown it, that could creep into their minds. I think we've got to put it into the perspective of what I said earlier, which Liverpool have done brilliantly to top Man City all this time, now only be a point behind them. And we've still got 9 games and 27 points to play for. It's basically a quarter of the season. So, we do need to hold our nerve, and we do need to realise where we are. We're in a great place, and it's a brilliant opportunity to win the league still.
I'm not sure how much you interact with fans from other clubs, Gareth, and I'm sure you might have kept your distance from Everton fans yesterday who were chanting, "You'll win nothing now," and naturally they got a lot of pleasure from yesterday's result. Is that kind of a league-wide thing at the moment, that there's a general attitude that people would rather see this drought for Liverpool go on?
There does seem to be a lot of that around. I mean, I expect it from Everton fans. I expect it from Manchester United and Manchester City fans. I'm not sure why some other groups of fans are bailing in, because, you know, ultimately, isn't it quite boring if Manchester City win the league? Yes. Isn't it quite boring if they keep winning the league year after year after year? Wouldn't it be quite nice to see a different name at the top of the league? Wouldn't it be quite nice that a team, you know, that no one tipped Liverpool to win the league at the start of the season? If they do it, doesn't that give everyone else hope? I don't quite understand, you know, the sort of, oh no, Liverpool fans are being horrible if they won the league. Well, aren't any group of fans intolerable if they win the league? I don't really sort of get the idea that we're this special set of people. We just want to win the league. As said earlier, you know, it's been 29 years. I've been going to match every one of those 29 years, and I'd really like to see us win the league. And if we win it, I will celebrate. Yeah. I will drink. I will go mad. And I'm sure that's the same for any set of fans.
I was at that Bournemouth game that you're talking about. The atmosphere was unbelievable. I did feel that there was a real nervousness after the first goal went in. There was celebration for about 5 minutes, and then everybody got back to being a little bit worried because we were 1-0 up last week and we got pegged back. And then when they went 2-0 up, they're like, oh, this is the worst league in football. There's just a little bit of that in the crowd. But when it went 3-0, everybody was happy. And you can see, I can see Liverpool winning a load of games routinely over the course of the rest of the season. So I could easily see some of these 4-0s followed by a tricky game, because the team does seem to be capable of reaching very high heights intermittently at the moment, and it's that lack of consistency really in the performance that over the last couple of weeks it hasn't been title-winning form from them since they were sensational in December. What is the difference in the performance on the pitch, do you think, apart from the stuff that we've talked about with the fans?
I think at times, you know, you haven't seen the free-flowing football. I mean, against Bournemouth there was some really good football. You know, you're seeing Mo Salah and Firmino link up brilliantly in a way where all season we've been saying, you know, we want to see the front three click. That phrase has been used an awful lot this season. And we've seen flashes of it against Bournemouth. Obviously, we put 5 against past Watford. But then, you know, I just don't think, you know, what we saw yesterday is a very, very determined Everton. Everton going out to an air raid siren. Everton absolutely pumped to put, you know, to break up Liverpool's title challenge. And look, they got the point, and that's their best result for 24 years, and good on them, great. There's no trophy for it, but, you know, it feels like there is, the way they're all celebrating. But I don't think Liverpool come up against sides as committed as that from here on in. I think Everton wanted that so much, the manager wanted it so much, the fans, as I say, were absolutely pumped, and the atmosphere at Goodison was very good. But I think, you know, as you've just said, there will be more routine games that Liverpool face now. Equally, City have got some tough games of their own. They've got to go to Manchester United. They've got to play Spurs. Even games like Palace and Burnley away aren't ideal. And you could see them slipping up. And I mean, you know, look, it's the margins are so fine. As I said earlier, Mo Salah puts one of those chances away. We're having a different conversation. City, you know, could have got frustrated against Bournemouth, but ultimately found a way. But, you know, on another day they draw. So it's not like, it's just not done and dusted for me, despite, you know, this idea that that's it, it's all over. You know, the league's never been handed out in March. It's handed out in May, so let's see what happens.
On Mo Salah, Jonathan Wilson in The Guardian this morning says he has scored just once in his last 7 games and looked distinctly tentative here. There were occasional flashes of the old brilliance, but for much of the game, Salah played the way Jordan Henderson's critics believe he plays. Are you worried about Salah's form at the moment, Gareth?
I think what we saw yesterday was a little bit worrying in that on both the big chances, I think he takes an extra touch that he doesn't really need to. And perhaps he's doing that thing where he wants to make sure rather than he actually just playing his natural game. I thought against Watford, though, he was decent. He played really well. He was running at defenders. He was causing havoc. And that was the Mo Salah that we know and love. And I think he's still right up there in the scoring chart, if not top, you know, joint second, something like that. I don't think there's anything to worry about. I think, you know, his level of performance since he became a Liverpool player has been incredible. And again, it has to be put into that context. Yesterday, okay, not his finest day, and I understand why people look at that and look for a problem. But, you know, if Liverpool was to sell him tomorrow, what's he worth? He's worth an absolute fortune. Why is he worth an absolute fortune? Because he's been brilliant for Liverpool.
Yeah. I mean, I think that the point you're making about Liverpool needing to realise that they're up against one of the great teams in this City team, that has to be part of the narrative as opposed to Liverpool choking for the rest of the season. And the other thing is that, like, it feels like this isn't going away anytime soon for Liverpool. There are with Suarez, for example, and Brendan Rodgers and that team. It felt like that was a one-shot wonder where a load of teams had become weak. This is a Liverpool side that have built steadily, season on season, under Jurgen Klopp. As long as Klopp stays and as long as the club isn't sold and something weird doesn't happen in the background, this is the new normal, or should be, for Liverpool.
Absolutely. I mean, look, when we were in Kiev, when Liverpool lose the Champions League final, I had a worry in the back of my mind that, things fall apart from there on in. And we've seen it so often before in the past with Liverpool, that it's been boom and bust, that they manage a title challenge and then they fall off a cliff. You're right to say that it looks like it's sustained this time. Klopp's there for the long term. All the key players have signed long-term contracts. I think that's important. You've got players there like Trent Alexander-Arnold, who looks like he can kick on and improve. He's still a young player. He will be an absolutely brilliant player for Liverpool. So everything points to the fact that this is the norm, as you say, that they can keep on challenging. And that's what Liverpool need to do. What still irks me more than anything, really, is that we allowed, among other teams, of course, but we allowed Leicester City to win the league. And they were crowned champions with something like 77 or 78 points. They went on to amass a few more, but it was at that point that they were told they were champions. Liverpool have won more points than that in the Premier League and not been crowned champions. The point is, you have to be there or thereabouts time and time again. And one year, it will be your year, as everyone likes to crow about at Liverpool fans. Another thing I don't really understand. Of course, you're going to say it's our year, because that's what fans do. And one year it will be, and it might be this year. And if it's not this year, it might be next year. But Liverpool have got to keep on going. And as you say, all the key players are in place. 13, 14, it felt like Liverpool were in the red zone all the time. And then, right at the end of the season, they didn't have enough left in the tank. And we all know what happened. This time around, I just think there's a really solid basis for what Liverpool have done. Some of the football hasn't been champagne football, but it's been mature football. They found a way to win while not always necessarily playing well. And it's on the basis of a good defence, a brilliant centre-half, a brilliant goalkeeper. They're not going away. They're not going anywhere. And neither are Liverpool.
Yeah, it's a fair point. Gareth, enjoy as much as you possibly can the rest of the season. Great to have you with us this morning. Thanks, man.
Thanks, mate.
That's Gareth Roberts from the Anfield Wrap there, which all Liverpool fans I know rave about as a source of good quality information.
Is it disrespectful to start talking about Liverpool keeping their nerve after the season? Like, when he talks about keeping their nerve, I often think that, like, as he said there, that's also about the future and not just about the present. It was about keeping their nerve after they lost the Champions League final last year and taking the step forward this season.
And they did that, yeah? No?
They did that. But, like, is it disrespectful to start talking about that now when the title race is still very much alive?
So it's not over?
Because it feels to me, if you talk about Liverpool keeping their nerve beyond the season, we're riding them out of the title race, there's going to be one more twist in this thing.
There is.
There's going to be one more twist in this. This thing is still very much live. But maybe most of us actually just wanted to not be any more twists.
Well, City are going to have.
City
are going to have. Well, so is taking 3-2 home lead in the Champions League? We're in the 16. Is that a big? It's still a big enough game. Mm-hmm. Everybody has to get up for it. There'll be the next round, and there'll probably be one round after that you would see City having to prepare for and come down from and get back up for the weekend. So the fixtures yet could be an issue for them.